One day, the farm fell silent. Snow had been falling all night, covering everything in a thick white layer. The roads, the yard, and even the access road to the cowshed were covered in snow, and the animals were waiting for their feed. A red tractor was parked in the garage. It was ready for action, although it had been resting for a long time after the autumn work. The snow creaked under its massive tires as the engine came to life, and the tractor slowly drove out into the yard. The first challenge was to get to the barn, where the snowplow was standing. The barn was on the other side of the farm, and the road to it was completely covered in a thick layer of snow. The tractor, although ready for action, had to first face snowdrifts to reach the implement that would allow it to effectively clear the snow. With the plow mounted on the front, the tractor was now a real giant, ready to fight the winter elements. He turned around in the snowy yard and headed out to begin clearing the snow from the farm. The tractor, like every day, set off on its rounds. While driving along the fence, it noticed something disturbing. Several boards in the fence were broken, and in one place a large hole had formed. The tractor knew that it had to act immediately. The farmer who was working with the tractor decided that the fence repair could not wait. Seeing the huge amount of work involved in repairing the fence, he decided that two tractors, one red, the other green, would have to face the task together. Both had their specific roles. One of them was to attach a cyclop loader, and the other a large trailer to bring the wood needed for the repair. Both tractors, ready for action, set off from the yard towards the forest, driving evenly one behind the other. The green tractor with the cyclop loader attached, the red tractor pulling a large trailer. Cooperation was key. Each tractor had its own task, which had to be carried out precisely. After reaching the place in the forest, both tractors started working. The green tractor with the cyclop loader immediately started lifting huge logs of wood that were waiting to be loaded. The trunks were huge, but Cyclop easily managed to load them. Once the logs were loaded onto the trailer, the red tractor headed for the sawmill. The road was straight, and the tractor rode calmly, pulling a heavy load. Once at the sawmill, The wood was to be processed into the necessary boards to repair the fence. The tractor knew that its task was important, because without these boards it would be impossible to secure the farm from intruders. Then the logs were put on a conveyor belt, where specialist sawmill machines began processing them. Powerful saws cut the wood precisely, and then smoothing machines gave the boards the right shape and smoothness. The process was quick and precise. It was obvious that the sawmill was well prepared for such tasks. The tractor was ready to be loaded. The boards quickly found their place on the trailer and the tractor happily headed back to the farm, ready to finish repairing the fence. On a small farm among the green hills stood a special tractor that had new tasks to perform every day. One day, when he woke up early in the morning, there were 3 important missions waiting for him to complete. The first task was related to the cornfield. The land had to be plowed before the rains came, so that the seeds could take root in the fresh soil. The tractor drove to the field, turned on its implements, and began to work with precision and persistence. The ground was hard, but it did not discourage him. Slowly, meter by meter, he plowed the entire field, preparing it for the coming rain. The second task was on a nearby hill, where cows were grazing. Their tank had dried up after a hot week, so fresh water had to be brought in. The tractor hitched up a large tank and headed for the hill. The second task was on a nearby hill, where cows were grazing. Their tank had dried up after a hot week, so fresh water had to be brought in. The tractor hitched up a large tank and headed for the hill. The road up the hill was steep and bumpy, full of rocks and holes that made driving difficult. The tractor felt the weight of the water-filled tank weighing down on its axle, and every bump in the ground caused the wheels to momentarily lose traction. Despite the difficulties, the tractor did not slow down. When he got there, the cows were already waiting. The tractor filled their tank with water, and they happily began to drink. The third task was the most difficult. The bridge leading to the fields in the village was damaged. Without the bridge, the villagers could not cross or transport their produce to the city. The tractor was to help with the repairs, so it hauled the boards and tools needed for construction. After several hours of hard work, the bridge was as good as new. The planks, which had previously been rotten and cracked, were replaced with solid new beams, carefully cut and well fitted. When all three tasks were completed, the tractor, tired but happy, returned to its place. It knew that every day brought new challenges, but it was always ready to meet them.